Welcome back. We've got DMV Commissioner Wayne Goodwin here answering your DMV related questions. Wayne, the pandemic changed some teen driver laws, but now things are back to normal. Talk about that a little bit.
Sure. Prior to the pandemic, teen drivers, those who were preparing to get their permit and license, would have to drive for a year. And then that was reduced to 6 months for a period of time during the pandemic and shortly after the pandemic. And then the law, by legislative action, reverted to 1 year, and that caught some folks in between. So, in response to that difficulty for parents and teen drivers, they changed the law back temporarily through the end of this year to allow 6 months of driving to count towards your required driving hours, and then it'll change to 9 months starting January the 1st. It's kind of complicated, but the teen drivers will know it because it'll be drilled into them as they go through their courses about it. Yeah. And of course, you can read more about it at myncdmv.gov.
And then there are also the self-service kiosks. Which services do they offer?
Well, the kiosks go live. We'll go live November 30th, December 1st, thereabouts. We're starting out in 3 locations. This is something that originally was to go live in earlier in the fall, but there were a number of difficulties, technical difficulties. But they're starting out in Charlotte and Raleigh, and also in Fayetteville, and then they'll expand outward early next year, January, February, to include Greensboro, Winston-Salem, and other locations. It is my goal to do what a couple other states have done already, and that's to have well over 100 kiosks. You'll be able to do many of the things that you already can do online, and it keeps you from having to go in person to a driver license office, or in some instances a license plate agency, and you'll be able to get order duplicates. You can order duplicate tags, duplicate licenses, duplicate IDs.
Okay.
Get your stickers, things like that. So it's an exciting time because folks can be able to get their DMV services while they're at the grocery store.
That's right. And the deadline for the Real ID is approaching. What do people need to know?
Well, the Real ID is a result of the response to 9/11. So this has been in the making for a long time. Federal government says that beginning in May of 2025, that if folks wish to fly domestically, they either need to have a Real ID or a passport. And for folks who don't have a passport, Real ID is important. And what you need is an extra set of documentation to verify you are who you are. And that you can learn more about that at ncrealid.gov or myncdmv.gov. And this is very important because when the federal government starts implementing that, if you want to travel abroad or travel between the states, or go visit a federal office building, they want to see if you have a Real ID. And not everybody needs one, but most people would be smart to do that. I encourage you to do it. North Carolina presently has about 44% compliance. We need to be at least 50% in my book. And I encourage you to get one if you do anticipate flying within the country or going to a federal office building.
Gotcha. And we have a few questions here. Someone asked, what do I do if I lost my license plate? Can I use my neighbor's tag?
The short answer is no. Your license plate is designated to only be on the vehicle that is officially registered to be on. You cannot use a neighbor's license plate on your vehicle. Imagine the confusion that law enforcement would have if they're trying to identify who's driving a vehicle and the plate says it's somebody else. So the short answer is no. If you lose your plate, notify DMV. You can contact us online through DMV, ncdmv.gov, myncdmv.gov, or go to your local license plate agency and you can order a duplicate. I would encourage you to go online and order a duplicate plate that way, but please do not use a neighbor's license plate. That not only is against the law, but it is against what law enforcement needs. They need to know who's behind the wheel of a vehicle.
Yeah, good response there. And another question, can I renew my commercial driver's license online, or does it have to be in person?
Yeah, this is one of the changes we're trying to work with not only our federal partners, but also with our online webmasters and the like who help us with our online services. There are already more than 22 services you can obtain online, including renewals for a regular driver's license that folks have. But for the commercial driver's license, that's governed in part by federal law. And I would encourage, from what I understand, is that it's better, given there's some federal overlay on this. It's my understanding that you have to go in person. We would ultimately like to have commercial driver licenses available online for online renewal as well. So to learn more about whether your commercial driver license is one that meets an exception, again, go to myncdmv.gov. But even if you can't do it online, if for some reason you can't do it online now, we hope to increase the number of services, including for our commercial drivers, to obtain those without having to go into an office.
Absolutely. And another question here, can I file for a lost or duplicate title online?
Yes. Yeah, you can notify us that you've had that. Ideally you do this several ways. That you can contact us through it. We have at our website, myncdmv.gov, you can request that through the commissioner's contact line, or you can go online to request a duplicate, and we'll be happy to work with you. There are multiple ways. You also can call us. You can go by the local license plate agency, and they can help give you some guidance too on that. But again, many of the answers that are needed for these questions can be found at myncdmv.gov.
And I know we talked about the real IDs earlier just a few seconds ago. Can you touch again just how important that is in making that deadline if you can?
Well, and we've seen the federal government move this deadline several times because the pandemic slowed down the ability of drivers to obtain, or persons individually. You don't have to be a driver or an individual, whether they're getting a driver license or an ID. The number of folks who were applying slowed down dramatically during the pandemic. But the federal government has set the implementation date for May of 2025. And if you want to have as few hiccups as possible when you're going to an airport and want to avoid a TSA line, then you need to have the real ID. If you anticipate flying, within North Carolina, flying between the states, and you don't have a U.S. passport, you need the real ID. If you plan to go into or work for a federal agency, you need to have the real ID. It's just the smart and right thing to do. It proves to everyone that you are who you say you are, and and I encourage you to learn more by going to ncrealid.gov.
All right, thank you so much. We're going to take another break here. Again, we're answering all of your DMV related questions. The number to text is right here at the bottom of your right-hand screen. We'll be right back.